Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into Dumb and Drummer again, where we learn about drums, different perspectives of learning, just other drummers and why they do what they do. Today, our guest is Victoria. Hello, thank you for being with us.
Hello, hello.
And for those that don't know, tell us who you are, a little about what you do, and what you about how you just playing drums. Tell us about that.
Okay. So my name is Victoria. Obviously, as you said, a lot of people call me Viki. On my Instagram, I have it as Viki a lot. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Miami, Florida, but now I live in San Antonio, Texas. Right now, I currently play for a band called Yani. So we've been doing a couple shows, and you can check that on my Instagram, Victoria V Vrizk. And what was so so sorry, what was the next thing after like who I am?
Just like tell us a bit about what you do. Like, so you said you're playing with your band right now. What kind of music is it?
Yeah. So it's actually compa based. So I'm actually half Haitian. My mom
Mhm.
is from Haiti and these boys are from Haiti as well.
Okay.
It's Dro and Yani and they made a band Dro X Yani. So they're from Haiti and we play compa. So that's the genre for like the Caribbean Haitian culture.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of compa before.
I honestly haven't.
I have not.
No? Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's a genre where, it's meant for people to dance mainly.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly the clave, just like dun, 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 dun. Like
Okay.
that's the base of the whole genre. So that's basically what I'm focusing on right now. I didn't really grow up playing that music. I just grew up listening to it. But so that's what I'm doing as a drummer, playing compa mostly. But I also grew up playing at church.
Okay.
Yeah, I started playing at church when I was about like 15, 16. And I my first, the first things that I played were gospel and then R&B and then pop and then now I'm into Caribbean music.
Awesome. Oh, so you're pretty
Yeah.
well rounded.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, and you
So
also went to Berkeley, right?
yes, I went to Berkeley for 4 years from 2016 to 2020. So I didn't really have a graduation last year.
Sorry about
So
that.
I just, I graduated on my couch, which is all cool though, you know. But it was a good 4 years where I connected with a ton of people and Berkeley is really a blessing. So
There's
yeah.
And
so many
do you
awesome.
feel? I'm sure you feel like you gained a lot from going there or from
Yeah,
attending.
I did. It sounds funny, but I actually gained a lot of confidence going to Berkeley because I think the number one thing about Berkeley is that there's a lot of competition. You don't have to really look at it as competition, but it kind of is natural, for musicians to all
Right.
go to a school and then you see someone better than you or you hear someone next to your practice room all
Yeah,
chopping and you're like, damn, I can't do that. So then it kind of motivates you to do even more and, keep on getting better and growing. So, and I met a lot of people. So Berkeley gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me a lot of discipline and focus on what I really want to do in life in general. And I just met a lot of people all around the world, pretty much.
that's
Berkeley's
amazing.
like a
That's awesome.
world school.
There's actually a ton of really good cats that came from Berkeley. I know, like Matt Garska, Matt Bover.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if did Pridgeon go or
Thomas Pridgeon?
yeah didn't he go to Berkeley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're just like where if I heard like I can't not knock on that practice room door. If I hear somebody chopping out and they're just killing it, like I got to be like, like, hey, can you show me that? Like, can you show me a little bit of that? I'm sure people hear you and think the same thing though. I mean, like that's full circle.
There's been a couple times, yeah, where like so in the practice rooms, like there's just like a crazy ton of practice rooms just all surrounded kind of in a circle, and
Hmm.
people are always just walking around. And I remember sometimes
That's
when I would
sick.
be playing, sometimes people would be like, dun, dun, dun. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like, dang, you're so good. Like, and you're female or whatever, and you can do those
Uh,
chops. And I'm like, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a
So
girl. Yeah, thanks for
I
that.
know
Thanks for
that's
noticing, I guess.
yeah. That was always one of the number one things. but I guess it's something that I can flaunt and kind of like have an edge to it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we're
Well,
going
I
to talk
mean,
about that here in a
consider
bit too.
and actually that kind of brings us to one of the other questions is you're the first female drummer we've had on the show, which is cool.
Hey.
But it must be kind of complex to be viewed as a female drummer, not just a drummer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's always a female drummer there, and not they're just a drummer, you know. And what can you tell us about the ups and downs of that? Like you said, like how you were saying, you can kind of just flaunt it. I mean, you might as well use it to your advantage when you can.
Right. Yeah. So definitely one pro is that like when I'm on stage already, like kind of all eyes are on the girl. Like
Mhm.
if there's a band full of men and it's just me on drums, which has happened before, they're like the only thing that's like sticking out is, the girl that's on the drums. So obviously that's already one like attention seeker. So I
It
guess
helps you
that's
get
super.
noticed a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like at Berkeley, that's when I noticed it already. Like at Berkeley, that was the only time I ever like actually started picking that up.
Mhm.
Because most, you know, people that play drums are guys.
Mm-hmm.
So if they see a girl drummer at a concert already, they're like, what do we expect, So that's already cool because I'm not saying I want all eyes on me, but it's cool because I get to show my talent and people are recognizing me, as a girl, doing cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right
But
on.
a con is that sometimes men can seem like they're superior and they know more than a female drummer. Um, and also the fact that I play drums, sometimes people think like, oh, you're dumb because you play drums. And at Berkeley, like a lot of people, like the jazz people and things like that, like
Oh,
music theory wise, like a lot of times they can try to seem like, you're a drummer, you don't really know, music sometimes per se. So I've gotten that too. So
that's
being a girl and then a drummer, sometimes also both is like, but it's like, let me see what I got.
Because so you kind of dealt with the drummers aren't real musicians thing,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow, I kind of wouldn't expect that.
me neither. Not,
Yeah.
especially not at
No,
Berkeley. Like
No.
I got accepted into Berkeley. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like I mean, like
no, yeah, that happens a lot. Believe it or not.
That's
wow.
wow. I mean,
Yeah.
there are a plethora of dumb drummer jokes out there. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I can't really blame them. Sometimes I do get lost with music theory, but that's whenever you go like way too far into music theory, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
But basics, I'm good. Berkeley taught me the basics.
that's awesome.
And as
Yeah.
far as I always try to be careful about the subject because like I have a lot of respect for all drummers. Like I really make it a point, and I'm not like virtue signaling or anything right now, or not trying to at least, that to never like say negative things about drummers like publicly. Like like if you played a video and it was like a practice pad video and you didn't even play with the click, I'm not gonna be like, you should really like play with the click if you're gonna do a practice pad video because that's educational. I'm never gonna do that. There are like so many other female drummers that on their pages it's like they get a lot more views. I mean, and this is the kind of like it's a tough subject to bring up, but I would love your perspective on that in the female drumming community or in the drumming community and your female, however you did the correct way to say that. What's your perspective on that? Like if you're getting a lot of views on your page, you're getting a lot of exposure, but maybe the skill level isn't there. I mean, or same thing for guys too. I mean, there's guys out there that get tons of views, and you watch the videos, and you're like, really? Like,
Yeah.
what are you bringing to the
I
table? Like, I'm interested to know your perspective.
Yeah, I've focused on that a lot. Right now I haven't been posting a lot on Instagram because I'm just kind of trying to take a break from that a lot too. Because sometimes guys can come with comments that are weird. So but that's a whole different story. I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna answer your question. So my view on that is I know a lot of female musicians, they they kind of can like, dress up and then like put a lot of makeup on and then just kind of entertain. I think a lot of them now, since people like a lot of viral things, like just like 15-second things, I think they just want to entertain and kind of just be viral for being a pretty girl that really can't play the drums, but she's doing just enough to get by to keep getting more views and likes. That, I mean, I don't like to judge people if they want to become, famous for being pretty on the drums. That's cool. It can only take you so far, but I believe like, I like true authenticity,
Yeah.
things about us female musicians that me sometimes, I don't know if this is off topic, but sometimes I like to play without no makeup and without doing my hair and just showing the drums, not me, showing the drums. And I think there's a time to like dress up and look nice to get likes,
Yeah.
but I don't think that should be the main focus every single time. I think the main focus should be like trying to inspire people, because it's happened so many times where I do a chop and I actually don't know what chop I did, but someone's like, oh my God, you inspired me to learn that chop. So then I have to rethink and I'm like, what did I do? So I kind of think of what I did so I can learn it, so I can teach it to more than one person. Because you can't really teach anyone with like, your beauty, I guess,
Yeah.
So the way how like my view on it is kind of like, if they want to look pretty for the gram, that can only take you so far, and I feel like you can get even farther with the value that you have, because I feel like nobody can take what you have in your mind. So I like to kind of show them what I have, what I'm playing in my mind, because nobody can take my beauty. They can just take what I can have to offer, to them. I don't know if I'm putting my words in.
Oh my gosh, that's not only refreshing but crystal clear. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I like to look at views as like value. Like, what do I have to offer to give to the person, instead of just getting views just to get views. Like, that's not going to do anything. That's not really going to make me, the money that I need to have a house in 10 years.
Views and likes aren't going to get you the gigs.
Nah.
Yeah. That's true.
And that's
even
what
if it does, even if it does, you might get one gig, but it's not like something consistent.
Exactly. Do you know who Jerome Garnett is?
No, I don't.
So he's, I would say underrated, but I don't think he's underrated. I think people that know who he is know he's amazing. He's endorsed by Soultone. He does if you look up YouTube, building blocks to gospel chops. He does he's a really good job of breaking this stuff down. He's just a really good, like, I just love the guy. I mean, I love taking lessons with him. He's just an all around great human being. Completely humble. I mean, this dude can just rip. I mean, he can rip for days. And he's like, I will tell you, with no ego, there are drummers I know that could chop 100 times better than me, and I would never hire them. He's like, I'm a music producer as well. He's like, I would never hire them to play on my music, because they can't hold down a beat without going to a 5-minute solo. So it's just like that is not the likes and views and the abilities that you have to chop out on social media. I love what you said about, for a 15-second clip and oh my gosh, and then you just keep on scrolling to the next drummer or whatever. There's bands that look at that and be like, I don't want that. I don't need that. That's not. I need a musician. I need a well-rounded person who can be part of the team and add value to our group. Not. I mean, when it comes time to solo, yeah, it's nice if you have that, but that's not all of what we're looking for.
Yeah, I actually went through that stage a little bit. I remember at Berkeley when there would be like shed sessions all the time, and I would go, and then someone would film me and I would post on Instagram, and then I would get like so many views and comments and likes and stuff. And I remember I loved that for a while. So that's all I did. But I don't know, you just don't really get nothing from that, So then I started posting like just, normal videos of me playing, actual gig things. And that's when people on Instagram would start to message me and be like, oh, do you want to play for this gig that's coming up? Or do you want to play for, different things? And that's when I realized I was like, oh my God, like, yes, it's good to have both. And there's a time for chopping out, but there's also a time to relax and respect the music and respect the artist, because if I wanted to be a drummer artist, whatever, then I'll go chopping, whatever, but gotta be, smart about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually really refreshing to hear someone else say that, and especially with your abilities and your reach is far bigger than or far greater than mine. Just viewing it like a currency, like if you're so you got 10,000 views on your last video, but like you said, like what's the value? It's like I got all
Yeah.
this money in my bank account, but I'm not happy. It kind of reminds me of that. It's like that. All the money in the world is still not going to fix your problems. It's not going to provide
Right.
happiness necessary. I mean, and like you said, maybe for a while. I mean, it's like it's like a drug. You kind of get
Yeah.
addicted to it. You're like, oh, let me go for 20. Let me go for 50,000. Let me go for I got 300 comments on the last video and that sort of thing. And then you expect that shit every time, and then it's just
Hmm.
like it's not even about the drums anymore.
No.
You just lost your way. So
Yep.
really
Yeah.
really good to hear your side of that.
Nice.
So what do you kind of moving on from that? What are goals do you have for 2021? Speaking of like new gigs and stuff, what do you have
Mhm.
anything coming up that you can talk about, or do you have any drumming goals you're working on?
So what I have coming up right now, the artists that I'm playing for, it's two artists. So and it's actually together. I don't know if you remember Dro and
Yeah,
Yani.
yeah,
I
the
always have
two
to tell
guys,
them that.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's called Dro X Yani. So it's two guys, and then it's me, guitar player, another guitar player, bass and piano. Um, I just wanted to tell you guys the whole band, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what we're doing, they're finishing the album, which is gonna release. What is it? We're in May 8th. It's gonna release the end of this month.
Nice.
And then we're probably gonna try to have like a big virtual, because we're still doing virtual things a little bit. We're gonna have a big virtual show this summer. Um, we're trying to see if we can have it in Santo Domingo in Dominican Republic. Um, because Haiti's not doing that well right now. We might not be able to go to Haiti for a while, maybe. But so we're trying to have a big show in Dominican Republic. If not, it'll be in Miami because that's where kind of our home base is,
Yeah.
in Miami, Florida. So they're gonna finish the album. There's gonna be great artists on there, which I'm really excited and kind of nervous at the same time because um, Sean Kingston is actually on their album, and I grew up listening to Sean Kingston, so I'm kind of nervous for that. So my goal, definitely something I've been trying to do, which is, it might not seem, too crazy for us drummers that practice a lot, but I'm trying to practice drums 8 hours a day. And that includes even the practice pad.
Damn.
So yeah,
That's
so I kind of like, yeah, I kind of like split it out. I haven't reached it yet because I've been doing other things as well. But for the most part, I've been doing maybe like 4 to 6, aside from everything that I've been doing. But I'm trying, that's a goal of mine. I really want to start doing like 8 hours a day, like just because I want to do that one thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of I think it's like 10,000 hours or
Yeah.
something. I've
Mm-mm.
always wanted to try that. So I think it's pretty cool. Brett, have you ever heard of that
No, what
before?
is that?
So it's like they said, I think you master something once you've hit like 10,000 hours.
Yep.
Like if you practice on something for 10,000 hours,
Or 10
obviously,
years.
yeah.
How long is
So
that?
10 years or 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. So
Okay.
that's what they say. Yeah.
yeah. So I've been wanting to like track that down, like, to see my progress and, just keep pushing myself. So that's one thing that I've been thinking of this year to try to do, to start the 10,000 hour journey.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Eight,
Yeah.
8 hours a day for anything is absolutely crazy to me. But Matt Garska actually said the same thing. I think he was. I don't know if that's a Berkeley thing or if that's just like a challenge in the drumming community in general. But he said the same thing. He was like he was going to go for 40 hours a week
Hmm.
and not. I mean, like you start the timer when you're playing, not when you take breaks, not when you hit the bathroom, not when you eat food. Like none of
Yep.
that counts. 40 hours of just practice. And I
Right.
was like, that is insane to me.
And you actually just said it. It is a Berkeley thing because for me, when I say that out loud, like it's not that crazy to me. Like I'll just practice. But for other people, they'll be like, "What?" And then to me, I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's my job." I remember
Yeah,
I
that's
remember my professor, my former professor James Murphy. I don't know if you know him.
I do know James Murphy,
James
the guy that
Murphy.
always wears
Yeah,
the
that hat.
little hat, and he always God, that guy's setup is like
Yeah,
trash
it's
is like all the way at the ceiling, and
the
then
toms are all like one level.
he's got the snare like
Yes.
real high. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That guy's cool as shit. I didn't know he was your professor.
Yeah, he was the one that actually inspired me to play drums.
Dick.
But yeah, he was the one who inspired me because when I went to Berkeley, I was gonna quit my first year. I wasn't doing that well my first year. Yeah, and then
Wow.
I remember, like, I still remember. It's like very vivid, like a very vivid memory where, like, we were, we had our private instruction already, and I was about to leave, and I told him I was like, I don't think I'm gonna come back next year. And then he was telling me like why, like, and I was like, I don't know, like I just really don't feel like it, like I don't know if drums are for me or anything. And then, we had a very long talk where he was like, the first 30 seconds I heard you, like I heard you play and you can play, like all I need is like 10, 30 seconds to hear someone and I know that like they can play or they can't play. And he was like, with you, like I heard that. And he was all telling me, take me next semester, and then, we can keep on growing and stuff. So I ended up taking him next semester and then it just ended up happening perfectly. I took him for the rest of the time I was at Berkeley.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah,
That's
he was just like stay because you have a gift that you got to keep on working on. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that.
That's a great story. Do you all still keep in touch?
We do on Instagram, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. He was one of the first ones, legit, to like, sit me down and just, he was the one. His method. I don't know if you know glue method. That's the one that started getting me to like work on my chops and fills and everything.
What is the glue method?
It's basically like it's different stickings. So the stickings are like right, uh right, left, right, right, kick, right, left, right, kick, like simple things like that.
Hmm.
And we just work on it with the metronome, and then ever since then I would just do those simple little stickings, and then you orchestrate them, and it's
Yeah.
like it's a whole different world whenever you start messing around with them. And he was the one who kind of taught me like drums are kind of simple, you just really need to like break it down, do it repetitively,
Hmm.
and it's all yours. Like it's mad easy, pretty much. You just got to keep on practicing it. Like chop, like people come to me and they're like, dang, how do you play those chops? And I'm like, it's not even that hard. Like you
Yeah.
just have to know what you're playing, you just play it, you keep going, raise the tempo, keep going, and then you just keep going from there, and that's
Not
it.
enough people want to slow down. They want to be blazing fast from the get-go and then
Yeah.
get frustrated when they're not that fast.
uh
You need to sit there and each sticking, each accent,
yes,
and then slowly build that up.
yes, because that's how you end up knowing, because
Yeah.
once you have it in here, like mad slow. I remember it was Matt Bover, actually. You know Matt Bover, right?
He won. He was one of the Guitar Center drum off winners at one point, right? He used to have a mohawk.
No,
I don't think he did. No,
No,
but
I'm thinking. Okay, no, I'm thinking someone else. You said Matt, right?
yeah,
Matt Bover.
Never
Matt
mind. I'm
Bover.
thinking someone
Yeah,
else. Never mind.
he's
Yeah,
so insane. I mean,
the
that dude,
one.
he's a machine.
He was the one who told me to practice like at 40 BPM. So that's what I would do. And then once you
Wow.
practice at such a slow pace, like you don't even need to think about it anymore. Your hands just go, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So once you're there, then obviously you just keep going up, and then you get faster and faster, but you can't get faster just by going fast. Like
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Or also like I think we touched on this before. Like, what's the application for that? I mean, so you can just blaze. I mean, if you're not playing a solo, like what's the
Right.
practical? I mean, and honestly, you know what the practical application is? Speed metal. And none of these drummers
That was
play
that
speed
was one of the
metal.
detriments when I started playing drums. Is I wanted to just play fast, blast beats, and double
Yeah.
bass, and that was
Yeah.
it. And I learned no technique whatsoever.
Me
Didn't
too.
practice with the metronome. I was just like, I want to play fast
Yeah.
Slayer shit.
You were the Ricky Bobby of you were like I want to go fast.
Yup, exactly.
And honestly, you never see these drummers. Maybe minus like Mike Mangini. Who didn't he teach at Berkeley for a while?
Yeah, he did actually. I don't think I ever met him, but he
Oh
did.
my
Yeah.
gosh, another just great human being. But I think he played for Anthrax or something.
Mangini?
Yeah, I think he like sat in on an album or something like that because there was like a video in the studio and he's got that twitch. He's got like some of the fastest hands like in the business
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
because he went to the competition. He went to the singles competition and he's just relaxing with these tiny little sticks and his hands are just a blur and he's using like kind of French grip and it's all fingers and he's just blazing. But I mean for that band, they hired him because they're like, wow, you can like roll with every limb. So he would just you know he would have a twitch and he would play all these really complex. But I mean, really complex. The complexity is because of the speed. It's not the complexity because of the notes, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
people can't do what he does. But that yeah, again, that's not what you see. Like, hey, if you want to play fast, there's speed metal and black metal and all kinds of
Yeah.
blast beats and stuff you can learn. But I mean, aside from that, there's not really a practical application for.
Oh no,
Most
and
of the rock
realistically, when
stuff.
it comes to getting gigs, that stuff doesn't do you crap because the
Yeah,
bands that need blast beats and double bass already have a drummer. They're not hiring session drummers, you
yeah,
know? That's their buddy they drink beer and smoke weed with. They're not
yeah, yeah,
hiring a professional musician.
yeah. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. But I think I went off topic for a little bit. What I was gonna say about the Berkeley thing was that there I think I was talking about how James Murphy, he was like, when you get behind the kit, um just think of it like this is your job. Like this is how you're gonna provide yourself and your family and like the world, you know?
Hmm.
So that's why whenever I think of like 8 hours, I'm like, meh, it's 8 hours of me and I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in my family, and I'm investing in whoever else I can inspire, you know?
Yeah,
So when he was like, whenever you sit behind the kit, just think of it like this is your job now, you know? Like this
yeah,
is what you do for a living. So every time I sit behind that kit, I like it, that always goes in my mind. I'm like, okay, so this is not only for me, but the hours that I'm putting in is also, you know, to help my mom, you know, when I'm older or when she's older, you know, to help my siblings, to help
yeah,
my friends, to help everyone, you know, music wise and also, you know, money wise, you know, because we all live with money. But
yeah.
yeah, so that's how I kind of look at it. Whenever I sit behind the kit and I want to practice for 8 hours, that's kind of like my um logic behind that.
Well, like
Okay.
also the 8 hour thing. I was just thinking about like I work a phone job and I work from home. Like there's nothing stopping me from having a reflex pad
Hmm.
on a stand right next to me. I mean I'm on a standing desk. I can just literally yeah. I mean you have a practice pad right there, don't you? You got your reflex pad on a stand. Yeah. I mean that's like yeah reflex. Hell
Hey,
yeah! Shout
that's
out to
dope.
Reflex. This podcast is brought to you by Reflex. Buy one today at reflex.com.
Do we know
That's
anybody
two
that
extra.
knows anybody at Reflex? We need to get in touch with them ASAP.
I did ask them actually to come on.
Oh, did. Oh, sick.
Yes, and they told me to.
There we go.
No, no, it's not the right time. So
Ah.
because of COVID and stuff like that, but we're gonna circle back. We're gonna have them on
Oh, cool.
eventually.
Didn't know that.
But
Sweet.
yeah, I think like some days I have an hour between calls and maybe I'm just I could take a break. I mean I have this free time or whatever. I don't know why I don't just chop out rudiments or something or work on single stroke rolls or something. I mean there's a lot of stuff, but yeah, it's not hard to practice. Like it is hard to practice for other people if you play like trumpet or some shit. I mean there are instruments that you can't take out your practice pad and just work on stuff. You have to
Right.
play the instrument itself. But yeah, you're definitely inspiring me to
Mhm.
have a
Practice
little
more.
home setup. Yeah, and work because I mean there's just so much value in that. Just keeping your hands, keeping them warm. Keeping yourself challenged and things like that, and
Yeah.
everything you can
And
to get
I'm
better.
Yeah, and I'm happy that like, you know, I got this opportunity with the people that I'm playing with during COVID. And I actually got it almost a year from now, actually. They hit me up like I think June 1st, they hit me up and I graduated literally like a year ago, May 9th,
Hmm.
which was last year. You know, COVID hit and everything, and then everybody's like, "Oh man, like what are we gonna do as musicians right now?" And I got the opportunity this summer, so I'm so happy that that's what motivated me to keep just playing drums because I have so many friends that right now they're still not really touching the drums because they're so down and depressed, and they have a lot of anxiety and stuff like that because they really like they have no other way of getting a kit. They're just in a room. They can't play drums if they're living in an apartment around
Yeah.
people, or they just don't have the drums. Some people actually go to Berkeley to practice the drums,
Yeah.
the Berkeley kit. So I'm like just like greatly blessed that I had this opportunity right like when not when right when Corona hit, but right when I graduated during a horrible, probably the worst time we've ever had in
Yeah.
history, I
Yeah.
guess. And I'm still going now. So right now I'm taking a little break. We don't have shows yet, but definitely still doing like the
So you have a drum set at your house set up where you can
yes,
play?
I do.
Tight.
It's actually outside. I'm again like I'm super blessed. Like my mom,
Outside.
she flipped. Yeah. So check this. So my mom flips houses. So she has workers and herself too. Like they kind of like build houses,
Yeah.
and they built like a little what is it called? Like just like a small house, like a
Like
shed
a
house.
shed?
Yeah, pretty much. And then they built that for me, and then I put my drums there. The only thing I'm missing now are mics. I really want to get mics because I'm not good at that stuff yet. Learning about like Logic and mics and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
that's another goal too, by the way, Brett.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's another goal too,
That's
to
that's
learn.
actually something I just started on. I like just a few months ago got my first set of mics and I got my new laptop and I'm just learning how to do that stuff.
Nice. So that's me. Yeah. I recently just
Awesome.
bought mics. So now it's like putting it into Logic and actually figuring out how to like record
I
and
got
things
a, I
like
got a guy. I got a guy I can put you in touch with
that.
that
Really?
that helped me a lot with my drum tones that uses Logic and he can help you with all that.
What? That would be so great if you
Yep.
can send that to me after.
He's real. Yeah, I'll send you a DM with his information. He's absolutely wonderful. He's really helped me to get like um, my tones dialed in. Like I don't like I was using a trigger on my kick for a long time, and I had I had another buddy help me, and he did a really good job. Like he actually helped me get everything off the ground. Like I owe him the world because he's the one who showed me like here's what to buy from Sweetwater and here's everything you need, and we spent like 3 hours dialing everything in. But then after a while, your sound, you want your sound to kind of evolve. Like you get the gear that you want, and you get the textures and stuff like that you want, and you want the mics to capture that sort of thing. Like I don't want to sit down and or I don't want to post a video and make it sound like I'm playing on some electronic drum set or something like that, or
Yeah.
everything's super processed. Like I really like organic sounds, and he really helped me to get like when you hear videos on Instagram like that's the way my kit sounds, about 90% accuracy or 90% like likeness to
Nice.
if you go in the room and sit down, which I take a lot of pride in, but it took a shitload of time to
Mhm.
get here now. So it's fun. It's kind of maddening too because then it's like, oh, I need to get a room mic and I've never used one of those before. So how do I dial that in? Oh, I need to have underside snare mics. And it makes a world of difference to have that. Or I need to have a certain type of overhead that's very expensive, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
um, welcome to the fold, I guess. Welcome to another stressful part of your drumming career.
Yeah.
Not
Me,
not
like
not that fun.
yeah, like me, I've never been like a technology person. Like for some reason, I'm always really bad with phones, with computers. Like I only use like YouTube or something, and then my computer ends up crashing. And then my sister's like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "Nothing."
I just opened YouTube and
So
everything
like
blew up. Yeah.
so like me with the mics right now, like I'm kind of struggling. I've asked a few friends to help me because I really have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm watching like a shit ton of what is it, like tutorials that
No.
and I brought the wrong cord like 3 times
Oh
in over the
no.
last 2 months. So like my mics have been sitting there for like almost 2 months because I keep like receiving the wrong
I'll,
everything.
I'll I'll connect you with my guy, and he's amazing. I mean, he's
Okay.
very patient, very hands on. Like actually, I don't even use Logic. We just screen shared. He
Oh,
showed me everything to do in Reaper because I mean it's
okay.
the same shit. Like when you're EQing, it's just different interface. I mean, it's just different. It looks different. That's
Yeah.
all. I mean, the basic concepts are the same. So he's like, put a high pass in here and set it to 15,000. I'm like, I don't know what that shit means, but I know that I know that for drums typically you would want some sort of EQ, so that your highs and lows, some sort of compression to
Right.
make the huge drum sound to kind of dial it in, because people are listening on their fucking phone. That's the other thing too, is who is your audience and how are they listening? Are you a big YouTube person? Maybe I watch YouTube on my Xbox, so I'm always watching high quality or listening on high quality. But on Instagram, I listen with headphones on Instagram like never. Maybe in my
Yeah,
car every once in a while if I'm like double checking a video, but I'm always listening on the phone speaker. So you got to mix for that shitty speaker.
for real.
That's a whole different story, like as far as mixing goes. Like if you're mixing for a track or you're mixing for your social media. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, it's kind of a rabbit hole, but damn, it feels good. I know Brett can probably attest to this too, but when you get that first mix and it isn't just
I
off of one microphone and it sounds so damn good, I mean that's
And
a
for
great
me,
feeling.
honestly, I felt very overwhelmed when I first got they actually sat there for a little while because I just felt like I have no idea where to start. And so I just kind of clipped them onto my drums and they sat there clipped to my drums. And then when I finally went to go do it, I had a major software issue and it was dead in the water for a little while. So I'm starting. It seemed very frustrating at first, and when I finally got the software issue fixed out, which was something on the company's end, I had to just wait until they released a fix for it. But just it's the initial getting the mics plugged in, everything set up, and recording your drums is so easy. It's like 90% easy, and then the 10% is figuring out that mix, and that's the super frustrating part. But just getting your drums on record, easy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt so much better after just getting over that hurdle. I was like, because basically what I'm using it for is demos anyway. I'm not going to be recording album quality stuff. And,
Yeah.
like he said, I'm recording stuff for a phone speaker. So, but I'm sure you'll be doing more than that with EQing and stuff like that. But once you get over the hurdle of actually like, oh, it's as easy as pressing a button that's record and everything's
Yeah.
plugged in, cool. You feel so much better after that. And it seems way less overwhelming and daunting.
And that's where I'm trying to get to, is just automated. Like I mean, all my stuff it's a preset.
Preset everything.
I'll open Reaper. I'll go to project templates. I'll choose the one that me and my buddy put together, and I'll hit Control R and I'll play drums. And when I'm done, right now I have to tweak a couple things. Like my room mic level is never where I want it. Like because the room mic is really the best way. Like multiple room mics is I don't. Do you have a room mic, Victoria?
I do.
Okay, all right. So that in my, like, a lot of people just record just a room mic, and then you get a really natural sound from your kit as well. Maybe takes a little bit more tweaking with like heads and tuning and stuff like that, because you don't want to have like a real dead kit and then have a room mic and then you can't hear anything. You know what I mean? It still has to, the voicing still has to come through like balanced. But and then I export. I mean, I make sure I turn on all the plugins and I export, because all the legwork is done. So like I'm kind of with you though. If something goes wrong or if I fuck something up or whatever, I'm gonna call support. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
I just know that if I go to the studio now, it's all set up and good to go. So once you get to that point, I think the tech side of it is not, you don't care anymore. You're just like, somebody help me initially set it up, and then from there on, I'm good. I'll just record.
Yeah, that's gonna be me.
Yeah.
So
I've sat for hours and I can't do it.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
So speaking of like microphones and stuff, let's talk a little bit about gear. So let's say you got a gig, you're going to be using a backline. What are two pieces of gear you are bringing no matter what? If you could only bring two.
So this one I'm definitely bringing.
Oh.
This is my favorite Pisces. Yeah, this is the 10-inch, the Swiss Splash.
Nice.
Is that your favorite cymbal you have?
Yeah. I love it. I'm a splash person. Like I use that splash all the time. Like
nice.
You know? So this is definitely like the number one. The number one thing.
I love how it's like, right? Oh, you got the questions beforehand. I was like, what do you sleep with that thing under the pillow or something? You got it ready. You're like, oh, it's my bae.
Yeah. This one, definitely this one. I didn't bring it, but I also have it's on my kit right now. It's the 14-inch, the Swiss also PSTX. Okay. It's like the one I put on my hi-hat.
Sick.
Oh.
Yeah, so imagine one of these. I'm sure you've seen a lot of drummers do that. Maybe you've done it too. but I recently just bought that one, and I've been playing it as my hi-hat, and I love it because whenever I use my left foot and I'm on the right cymbal or something, the like it's just a different sound whenever
Yeah,
they're clashing together. And then I love the crispiness. Like for a hi-hat, I love crispy.
yeah,
Doing those like double strokes, like
yeah.
So, that's also one that I would love to take, like if I was going on, a show or something.
Okay, so
Yeah.
both your Swiss splashes.
I just really love these. Like honestly, I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. Like if I could have all my symbols with just like all the holes around them, I would. I actually think I've done that before. Not gonna lie. I think I
Just
have
all ozone crashes and stuff.
yeah, I think I do have a couple videos actually on my Instagram with just all the freaking ozones all over.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I think also aesthetically, I mean, it looks badass. Like when you
Good.
have because it looks like to a layman, they're gonna be like, why are the drums all fucked up? And it's like kind of like intriguing to people.
I
Right?
would get sticks caught in everything. I would just constantly
What?
be losing drumsticks because it gets caught in my crash or caught in the hi-hat
That's
hole.
never happened to me. It's never happened to me. And I've used a trash crash. I use. I think I'm actually right there with you. At one point, I had a 20-inch vintage trash crash because I use Meinl,
Mhm.
and then I had a uh, uh, one of those classics customs dark like stacks where you get the china and the trash crash, but both of the cymbals have holes in them. So it's an ozone china ozone crash, and then I had a 22
Yeah.
inch Meinl that I modded that I had ozone holes put in because I like that stuff so much, and then now I use an ozone china like the Meinl classics custom trash china. So like there's something about those, like I think it's the snap. You get
Yes.
it's a real quick get in, get out, and real like kind of like that quick decay. But it's like they have this signature like attack to them. It's like more of a bite, but then it goes away quicker. It's hard to describe, but yeah, I'm right there with
Yeah.
you. I think it's
As
funny that
someone
you
who's never
chose.
really used the like hold crashes and stuff, do you guys find they break more easily or anything like that?
A
Like, do
little
they
a little bit.
a little
I'm a,
bit?
Those
I'm
little
a very
spider
hard
cracks.
hitter. I'm a very hard hitter. I already broke one of these, so they had to send me another one.
Well, did you make it into a stack though?
No, I didn't make this into a stack. I
You
I
make the
just used
broken
Oh,
one
the
into a
broken
stack.
one.
the broken one to make it into a stack. I should have done that, but they made me send it back because they
Oh,
gave me this one.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a warranty.
Um, kind of, yeah.
Oh, cool. Are you
Or just for that situation.
are you endorsed by Pisces?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Very
picked
cool.
up a ton of artists lately. I was like, what is going on? They
Yeah.
like because I don't really. I mean, I follow a lot of drummers on Instagram, but it was like this is very noticeable. Like they made a push
And I've
to
seen
pick
at
up
least
people.
there's at least 5 drummers that I know of that just jumped ship from companies to Peisty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And have you always played Pisces or did you?
It was well, I never really owned my own cymbals. But I like growing up at church, like I would play Sabian, and then at Berkeley they had a lot of Zildjian. So I was never really surrounded by Paiste.
Mhm.
But whenever they let me try like my own things, like my own sound, I was like, oh dang, like I kind of dig Paiste.
Yeah.
Um and their symbols are amazing. Like they really shocked me. Like whenever they sent the symbols to me and I started playing them, I was like, yo, like a lot of it is music. Like their sounds is
Mhm.
just they're very rare because you don't hear their sounds with other symbols as well. But yeah, I didn't really grow up playing Paiste because I was never really surrounded by it, and I never like owned my own symbols until now.
Yeah.
So and now I have Paiste.
It is really interesting that like I don't feel the same way about all drum companies, but I mean like well I guess I do. I mean they're like every cymbal company makes good cymbals.
Yeah,
Like
right.
if we're talking about like the big four or the big five or whatever, like Sabian has. I mean, I started out with XS20s, so I mean, my first cymbal pack, and I mean, I know y'all can relate to this as well. When you get your own cymbals for the first time, it's like
Mhm.
if you touch these, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
That was
Like
the Pisces symbols. I was like, oh my
Hands
god, now
off.
I understand.
Yeah. And it's like, this is a huge step. And I got the XS20 pack. I got the full pack was like $700. Two crashes, hi-hats, ride, China, and splash. It was like $700 from this website, massmusic.net, which is now gone, but they had these insane deals. And I'm in college and I'm broke. So I get this thing shipped to me and I'm like, oh my God, I have this full symbol. So like Sabian was like my heart for a long time. But then I started using mismatch symbols, like the EFX crash from Zildjian. Like that was my first trash crash, and I was like fell in love with that obviously. But then I gravitated towards Minel. But it's like I watch these videos and like Peisty stuff, like they're especially the color tone stuff, like the blue and the red symbols and stuff, and like Eric Moore kind of like uses different stuff in his setup and the different lines. Sabian has come up with incredibly amazing stuff, and even Zildjian. I mean, Zildjian's probably my least favorite, but they have come out with a lot of like the raw crashes and like the chopper hi hats and like they're just and the K Constantinople's and stuff like that are just gorgeous. The special dry line is good. So there's always like, I just find it really interesting to talk about this kind of thing because everybody has their own preferences. But I like how you said, "What is my sound?"
Yeah.
Not what is my brand loyalty or what did I always play in church or whatever. Like fuck all that. Just what kind of sound do you want, and then just gravitate towards that. Because I play Minel, you play Pisces, Brett, you play Zildjian, right? Yes, I mean everybody's got their own thing, you know. That's cool.
Yeah, and for me, I always need a splash.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know what? I'm gonna, because I asked for 2 pieces of gear and you named both splashes.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
I want to know what it is. So I'll count the 2 symbols as 1.
Talk to me about something else. Yeah.
1 more piece of gear you have to bring to every gig.
Let's see. Dang, I honestly would say my reflex pad.
Really? Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, honestly, cause for me, I don't know, like whatever they have on the drums, I'll make use of it. I've been in a situation where, we were at rehearsal and then someone gave me just a hi-hat, 1 cymbal, a snare, like that's it. So you just make the use of it, you know.
No kick drum.
And kick drum.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn.
Yeah. So I kind of got used to like not really like valuing things that I need to play. I kind of just make whatever is out of it. But I feel like the reflex pad definitely, like before I start playing anything, like just literally like a minute into it is already enough for me to like be warm around like the whole kit.
Nice.
I would like, if I were to take my reflex pad everywhere I go, like definitely for sure. But other than the splash, because I know you guys want something else.
You know what? I actually really like the reflex answer because most of the time we're gonna get, you know, this cymbal or my bass drum pedal 90% of the time. Yeah. I love your attitude of I'll play whatever trash cans they have for me. I just need my pad to warm up first.
Yeah, maybe
I love that. That is awesome.
Maybe it's my mentality where at Berkeley, like when we go to the practice rooms, like the drums are shitty.
Yeah,
and I'm sure people are like, know which one is the best drum set, and everybody wants to get to that one first.
Yes, there was maybe like three or 4. That's so funny. How did you know that?
It's just like a rehearsal room.
Yeah.
Any rehearsal room where it's, you know, you rent an hourly rehearsal, you're like, oh, I hope room B is available. They at least got a Pacific kit that isn't falling apart.
I was just getting ready to say, is 1B open? It's like, no, man, sorry. I was just thinking 1B in my mind and be like, we got 1C. I was like, oh no, I can't.
And I can't play in one of the regular rooms because you can't afford the showcase room. So
yeah, exactly.
But
I guess the reflex pad.
I like that because, you know, there are a lot of drummers that do not warm up. There is.
I've done it a couple times, but every time I do warm up, it's a whole different world when I start playing.
Yes. I've missed warming up because I was too busy chatting or something with people, but like when I do get a chance to sit there with a practice pad, it's a world of difference once you start playing.
I have This sounds really dumb, but I realized in the last video I made, that I posted yesterday, as a practice pad video, and I'm like, why don't I have practice pad sticks? I'm like, I use the sticks with like chunks taken out of them, or whatever. But this conversation has motivated me to buy another reflex pad and a snare stand and just have like a home setup, and I'll just have my sticks that I only use for the pads, so they'll never get chewed up or anything like that, and just have it right there, and just work on stuff because it's and we could talk for another hour about this whole topic, or this specific topic, but like sometimes you just stop practicing.
Yeah, that's been me for a while too. Yeah.
You don't really work on anything, and then it's just like you can feel it's like the videos. Like I don't want to look at my videos and be like, I'm exactly the same as I was a year ago. I'm just posting like the same shit, or I haven't like changed anything. Like I haven't evolved or like worked on something new. Like that's what I love about music, is there's always another like challenge if you're looking for it, And so I think the challenge, and it's interesting. The next challenge is, why don't you start playing on a practice pad? When I first started, I was practice all the fucking time, and then when you get to a certain level, you just stop doing it. And it's very interesting why. It's like we can always get better, so why wouldn't you just keep practicing?
And it wasn't while we interviewed him, but it was Josh that told me this a while ago, because I was saying I felt I was really odd that I felt unmotivated to practice drums, but I wanted to practice guitar to get better because I'm not much of a guitarist. And he was like, it's because you already know how to play drums. And when it's kind of like when you're already there's not a lot of motivation to learn little bits more, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's not that same hunger as when you're a kid and you're like, I want to play like the guy I'm watching in this video or at this concert. And it kind of made sense to me. I was like, I already know how to play. So it's like, almost my brain being stubborn. It's like, you already know, why waste the time to get better? Mm-hmm. Waste the time, I should say. But so I think that's I think once you get to a certain point, once you get better and you get, you get good, you don't have quite as much motivation to practice, because once you're pretty decent, I feel like everything's incremental at that point.
Yeah.
Once you first start playing and you get down that lick, it's like, oh shit, I just jumped leaping some mounds.
Yeah.
Whereas now you're just like, oh, okay, I learned these others, and it adds to your playing and not taking away from that. But it doesn't have that same excitement when you learn something now as it did when you just started playing drums.
Well, and that's the culture too, right? Like you always want to be wowed, like everything, the world's at your fingertips. Amazon Prime. I mean, I can get something shipped to me sometimes in the same day. It's like I don't have to work for anything. Yep. It's like, so why can't I just automate my music progress? Why can't I just type in the cheat code or something, and then and the world just is unlocked and I can do anything.
Well, that's exactly why you have half these YouTube videos that are like, faster hands in 3 days, just learn this method, get abs in 2 days.
2 days, right?
Everybody wants instant gratification. They don't want to put in that time for that incremental effort to get those wow moments.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great point.
That's our generation now. That's the whole point of TikTok.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you were saying viral 15-second things, I'm like, yeah, and my drummer friend, or actually my old boss at Drumeo, would be like, well, yeah, I'm posting stuff on TikTok, but I can't post the same stuff I do on Instagram. And I was like, that's interesting to me, because you kind of have to you don't have to not be true to yourself, but you kind of have to be a chameleon, if you will. And you have to be like, well, what do my viewers want? And then at what point do you say, well, I want what I want. Like, I want to post my stuff wherever it is. Like,
and this is why my TikTok has horrible views, because I literally just post my Instagram stuff to TikTok, because I have no idea how to TikTok.
It doesn't work. They're all different.
Money. Yeah.
I think we got one more.
Yeah, we got a couple more. We can tie these together though, kind of. So I believe you said earlier, you mentioned one of your professors was basically the reason you started playing drums.
Yeah.
So the question was, who was the drummer, band, or moment that made you realize you want to start playing drums? Like, did you have, I specifically, I have this moment where I was like, okay, I want to do that. And I knew from that point on, I was all about drums. Do you have that moment? Like someone you saw or a video or whatever?
Yeah, I bring this up all the time to him. I kind of try to remind him too. So it was James Murphy. It was my third semester at Berkeley. No, it was my second or third. And I remember No, it was my third, because that's when I started taking classes with him. And he invited, all his students to a show that he was having at Berkeley. And I remember just watching him play. Um, and I like got goosebumps because I was like, oh my God, I want to play exactly like that. And I still remember like the memory. Like I'm still like picturing him playing on the kit with his band in like a super small Berkeley stage. And I was just like blown away. I was like, yo, how is he doing all that? Like, how is he doing that with his foot and then still playing? And then he's like on perfect timing and everything. And I was like, dang. And I was trying to picture myself up there trying to look cool playing that. And I was like, okay, it's a done deal. Like if I can go up there and do that, like that's just like that's a whole vibe, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it was like September, if I'm being very neurotic about it right now, like it's like September like 19th or something. I remember it was in September though, like beginning of the school year, where I watched him and I was like, that's it. Like it's a wrap. Like now I actually do want to play drums.
So wait, when you first attended Berkeley, were you not going for drums?
I was, but the thing is, so I couldn't really afford to live in Boston yet. So I was living like more than an hour away from Boston, Lawrence, Massachusetts. And I would take a 3-hour commute in the morning from 6 a.m. to go to 9 a.m. And then right when school ended, I had to go back and I wouldn't get home till maybe like 6 p.m. So it was just a horrible, like, it was all mental and physical because I literally, like, the train and everything, it's all physical. And, like, I was just so tired. I was so tired. And that first year, like, I just wanted to give up. And then comparing myself all the damn time, I was like, I'm tired. Like, I'm not going to do this. Like, why am I going to suffer if why put myself through this, So, but then a friend of mine was like, yeah, those were crazy days. Like I would wake up straight up like at 6 to go on the train, come back literally 12 hours later to come back home. And then it was tough for me too because I couldn't practice as much because I didn't have time to practice at Berkeley because I had to take the train. So I was like, how am I gonna keep this up? Like that's not fair. I have friends practicing all the freaking time. Me, I can only squeeze in like 2-hour practice time. And then I have to go back home all the way on the commuter rail. It was insane. Like my first year was horrible, and not many people know that. Only my like close friends know that. So I was gonna quit until a friend of mine was like, "Nah, take James Murphy. Like trust me." So then that's whenever I ended up knowing about James Murphy. I sat down, I watched him, and I was like, "This is a wrap. Like I want to play."
Nice.
I remember saying, obviously, I don't want to play exactly like him, but he was just so good. I was like, dang, I want to play exactly like that,
Yeah. So dumb question. This was like your third semester at Berkeley, but you went to Berkeley originally for drums. So like,
yeah.
Rewind a bit further back. Like, how did you get motivated?
Like, what made you want to pick up drumsticks for the first time ever?
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it.
So, when I was very small, my older brother, he would always put me on his lap, like just to play drums, but that was just whatever. But they found that I can actually play drums,
You had some rhythm?
Yeah. So this is actually a funny story that I'm gonna say. I kind of like saying it because I'm actually like, a little, I'm like, just the story is, to me, is cool.
Go for it.
So whatever. I could pick up rhythm when I was very small. That was something. So then I was playing sports my whole life. Like I'm a very like athletic person. Sports was my life. Like I wanted to go to school for sports. I wanted to, do sports all the time. And then I quit sports when I was about like 15 or 16. And then drums was sort of always in my life. Like it was, and then it wasn't, because I was mainly with sports, but I played drums at church. Like a church asked me to play drums when I was about I think like it was 14, 15. I don't really remember the age, but I was in high school when they asked me to play. So I would play drums, right? It wasn't like the biggest passion, but it was something that I knew I was good at enough to have fun with it. So it was like a hobby. And then sports was my main focus. And then when I had to go to college, my mom was like, what are you going to do for college? And I was like, I'm not going to go to college. And then she was like, no, you have to go to college, So, my grades weren't that good. I couldn't go anywhere because my SAT scores were like really bad. They were very bad, like very bad. That's all I'm gonna say. But my mom wanted me to retry the thing to get a better score, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So then my friend actually, who is from Boston, he was like, "Have you heard of Berkeley?" I was like, "Not really." He was like, "Look it up. You don't need to send your grades or anything." So then I was like, "Okay." So I looked it up, and I saw that Berkeley, you don't need to send in. Well, you need to send on all your grades and things like that, but they don't really mind that. They just care for the audition and the interview. The interview aspect of it to get into the school. So I did that, and I was like, okay, well, I've never really focused on drums, but it's always been something that I'm good at. So why not like actually pursue it,
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I got into Berkeley. The first year, I was just going through the motions. I'm not gonna be one of those drummers where I'm gonna hype up the drums because I'm on a podcast for drums. Like honestly, like I wasn't like a real drummer at that time. But it wasn't until I think honestly like the story that I already told you with James, like that's literally what made me want to legit
so
wow.
with passion. Before it wasn't passion. It was just sticks something for fun, but it wasn't like this is drums.
It was more of a fun hobby on the side.
Right. Something that came natural. And then the only way I played was at church because I never really played at home or anything. It was just church. And then
so up until you went to Berkeley, could you read music or anything?
Oh no.
Okay. So that's why that was your initial story. You were just kind of barely playing drums for the most part here and there.
A lot of people think like I grew up like playing drums 24/7 when that wasn't the case at all. It was just something that I was, a little bit good at. So I was able to get by. If you were recording for a minute, I was able to get by playing drums,
Wow.
But I wouldn't be able to play the way I'm playing now. I would just play drums because it was just something that came natural.
So you learned everything at Berkeley for the most part.
Everything, like everything.
That's
everything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So literally, like, if you were to call me like a professional musician, I would say since Berkeley.
Okay.
Yeah. So 4 years. Cool. 4 years.
That's awesome.
5 now. Yeah.
I mean, that's a really inspirational story, actually, because I mean, it didn't sound like drums were a big priority for you.
They were not,
and it was a 180 once you had that experience with James. So
yeah,
you kind of just went to Berkeley to appease your mom's wanting you to go to college, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah,
that's dope.
So that's why I love that story too, because like I've learned so many lessons from it. Just so many lessons from it. But yeah, so that's like because of James Murphy, that's how I ended up loving the drums. But if it wasn't for my mom telling me to go to school, then that wouldn't have happened. But if it wasn't also for like I'm not saying to have bad grades, that's not what I'm saying. But like if it wasn't for like, my grades, maybe I would have gone into another school. But no, like I think everything happens for a reason. It all just ended up going the way it was supposed to be.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
That's a super inspirational story because I mean I'm sure there's a lot of other people in your exact same situation.
Yeah, like starting late, like I consider myself as a late drummer, but just if you apply time, like wow, and being consistent, a week can take you places. Just a week,
I'm definitely like no, I'm not a bullshitter. Like I'm a real direct, honest person. Like I mean I feel inspired to.
Wow.
Pick up the practice pad and like actually I mean it's just not an excuse. Like if I'm at work, if I'm at the office, can't be like, yo, everybody put your earplugs in. I'm just gonna hit some snare chops real quick. So if you're on a call, just mute or something. You can't just bust out the practice pad at your desk at the call center. Like it doesn't work that way. Like you may be able to do it on a break or something, but here I can do it. I'm at my apartment. I can literally drum whenever I want. And
I think I've been in that situation too. I think sometimes we just get too comfortable,
Yeah.
We just get too comfortable and then we don't want to, do that extra, not extra, but we don't want to just practice. Like sometimes I'll be here, like at my desk, my TV's on, Like sometimes I'm chilling and I'm like, why don't I just practice while I'm watching TV? It's not that hard, you know? And then sometimes I'm like, ugh, but I don't want to. I just want to watch TV. So it's at the end of the day, it's like you got to really want
it. Just put a reflex pad in every room in your house.
Right? Everywhere.
No matter what you're doing. I mean, you could be washing dishes with one hand and working on single strokes with the other, working on like Moeller technique, like push pulls shit, you know.
I have had my practice pad in the passenger seat of my car. I just worked on finger technique with my right hand.
That's amazing.
Hands and then did it on my left hand.
That's amazing. Did you see that video of the guy that sets up like the? I think he's playing to like what is that Phil Collins song? Easy lover. She's an easy lover, you know. But he's playing to that, and he's got a cowbell. I think it's a Tesla. I think it's driving itself, so I think he's doing it sort of safe. But he's got a drumstick with one of those rubber tips, like the practice sticks, and he's got a splash somehow mounted on his dashboard, cowbell. And then he's playing on the dashboard as well, but he's just like jamming in his car.
I have not seen that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Me and my dad always used to talk about, because we always used to drum on our steering wheel all the time. It'd be cool if you set up triggers in your steering. Obviously, you would have to. No car company would ever do this. But like I know we all do. You don't have to tell me that if you do it or not, because I already know that you do. Your bass drum foot is going in the car when you're jamming out to music, and you're playing your drum set on your steering wheel, and on your left foot, you know, you're playing the bass drum parts, right?
Yep.
So if there's a kick trigger there, and there's some sort of like, you know, triggers in the steering wheel, and it can
different zones on the steering wheel.
Yeah, different tones. Like here's your toms, you can customize it, whatever. Then it plays through your car speakers. Then you could actually play the kit while you're driving on your steering wheel. You know, I mean, it'd be kind of.
And there would be so many car accidents because some guy would be like, "Wait, what was that lick? Hold on."
Yeah, I gotta pull over.
Focusing on this, beating on the steering wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good shit.
Well, we got one more question for you. So, if you could play drums for any band, any artist, past, present, future, whatever, who would it be?
Ooh, well, you said past, future.
Past, present, or future. Any artist you could, if your dream artist that you could play drums for.
My answer. How many answers can I get?
Your top. I'll give you top three. Top three artists that you could play drums for.
Okay, so past Michael Jackson. Now Justin Bieber and also J Balvin. I don't know if you know him, but he's a Colombian reggaeton artist. I think Marcus Thompson plays for him.
Okay.
Yeah, you should check him out. Him playing live is so dope, but definitely Michael Jackson, Justin Bieber, and J Balvin.
Nice.
Yeah. Justin Bieber has always been my number one, though. It's not because I'm a girl. It's just because he's very talented. Okay.
No, I my mind didn't even go there because he's a very interesting player.
I am one of those people. I don't care why you like your music.
Yeah,
if you get enjoyment out of music, cool.
Amen.
And also Styx Taylor. Oh man.
Have you seen their stuff lately?
Yes, I have. I transcribed. I'll send you a link for something I transcribed. I transcribed a clip he posted on Instagram a couple months back of a transition into I don't know the names of any of his songs, but it's so weird because I don't like Justin Bieber's music like to listen to on like Spotify or something like that, but his live band is so ice cold that I mean like that would be any self-respecting drummer would absolutely have a blast at his show just listening to Ricky play drums. I mean, he's a fucking animal. I mean, there's so many like little subtleties that he does and little embellishments that he's just it's so wonderful to listen to him play.
Yeah. No, he's definitely lucky. I'm not lucky, but he definitely got that gig. Like he deserves it.
Yeah, I mean everybody in that band. Drummer. I mean that's like
perfect drummer.
Yeah, he does fit perfectly. I can't speak to the rest of the people he uses for his band, but it's all top notch. I mean, extremely high level playing. So yeah, good picks.
Yes.
Cool. Well, that's about a wrap.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Thanks. This was fun.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Honestly, you're one of my favorite guests we've had on. I love your story, and I love your outlook on things. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brett.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a good one. Speak to you guys soon. Let's stay in touch.